in terms of how things have changed. You said it might be a little harder now to find some of those jewels, and I know you said, Jay Diff, it's more about the playlists at this point in terms of where you might be able to get put on to.
Piggybacked off him saying playlist, but it's more random.
Okay.
So there's, in the blog era, there was a little more structure as far as how it was releases were made.
Right.
Because when artists dropped these songs, they wanted the blogs to pick them up because that's where everybody's going to get those songs. You know what I'm saying? So there may be a song that dropped on this particular blog and it's like a special release for that blog. So you have to go to that blog to listen to it. Now everybody's pretty much taking it amongst themselves or on their own, and they'll just shoot out a link, and it's like a iTunes link or like pretty much a streaming link where you had an option to just listen and buy it.
Right.
There's no song and a download link anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people weren't really worried about necessarily profiting off of the music. I mean, they were. That's the bottom line they were trying to get to.
Right.
But they wanted it to get to you more than just, I want you to pay to hear it.
Yeah, the culture's changed. The culture's changed to it's good and bad, realistically. I think the good parts about it is that it's kind of empowered the artist a little bit more to have a little bit more control over how they distribute their music.
Okay.
Which forces them to create their own fan base. Before, you were kind of determined upon like bringing down the band's fan base or Two Dope Boys fan base. And then you still had to convert those people. Now it's like, I'm putting it out there and you have to do your own work to get those.
To develop that.
So for us who are just random consumers,
right,
we had, where are those things where we're being guided to check these things out? It's just a little bit harder nowadays for me anyways.
Yeah, kind of adapted to pretty much the nature of music releases period today. Because with the internet, it's a lot easier to get to the music.
Right.
At first, everything was just getting leaked, and people decided, all right, well, if it's getting leaked, I'm just going to throw it out there because I want people to know who I am. And now, since the whole streaming and iTunes, Google Play, all of that shit came about, it's like, well, I'm going to throw it out there, but I want to get paid for it now. It's like it flipped in order to, okay, I know how I can get paid now versus people just stealing the music for free.
And it's kind of a good thing. I mean, I do think it empowers the artists to be more responsible and more accountable for the things they're doing.
I remember,
but it does. But for the consumer, I guess maybe for me as a consumer, maybe not for everybody. It's just a little harder to find shit now.
But I remember the early stages of bringing down a band versus where it is now, and I remember you talking about how you guys receive submissions. People would send stuff in, for you guys to review or to listen to and to possibly get placed on the blog. So now, do the submissions still come in, or is it different how they're sending? Is it like,
well, I changed
check my playlist out versus?
We've changed our process throughout the years. So it started off, we just had an email address.
Okay.
And it got to the point we were getting over 100, 150 emails a day.
Wow.
And it was just like, and I was checking them too.
Yeah.
And the problem is that even though between Terry and myself, we had like a multiple tiered system. So like I'd go through and listen to them really quick. Anything that wasn't complete trash, I just forward to the next email. And then we would just go through and just re-listen to them with another ear. It's kind of like a quality control process, really. Yeah. And then from there, we would pick the good ones and share them. Gotcha. We used to post 10, 12 times a day.
Yep, that was the goal.
And so, I mean, lots of music would come out all the time. And then it changed. I was like, this is too much, because the problem with that process was that we would get out of, let's say, 100 tracks, like 2 that were good. Mm-hmm. It was just a lot.
The ratio was that lopsided?
And then that actually turned into a segment called 𝗋𝗋,
which we stopped. Yeah. It was called We Laugh and Play It.
I remember that. That was funny.
And we used to share the really funny shit.
Yeah. So feelings probably was hurt about that.
Definitely. I've definitely been targeted a few times for some of those. I got to the point where I was like, it makes more sense to focus that energy towards stuff I do like.
It was funny,
but a lot of that stuff was fun. You might be able to find the archives. So if
you get on 𝗋𝗋, like instead of being mad at you on Whelp, just share a link to your family. Like, yo, we made it on Bringing Down the Band.
We've got a whole generation of Whelps right now doing perfectly fine.
Should do a Whelp mixtape.
Got more money than us. On some Whelp ass shit.
That's real.
I was watching a 𝗏𝗏 interview with 𝗏𝗲𝗄 𝗀𝐻𝐻 on his what is it called? People's Party.
People's Party.
It's that's very good. By the way,
and 𝗏𝗏 said he's like, hip hop is the only the only profession where the worse you are, you get rewarded for it. He's like, I couldn't like crash a plane and be promoted.
Nah,
you know,
right?
No, Ice JJ Fish got a new album out.
Word.
He's from that era too.
Yeah, he got well.
Shout out to Chicago, a suburb.
Is he from Chicago?
Suburbs.
Is he?
Yeah, he from up that way.
They don't claim him.
We need to book him.
Think about his name.
I'm trying to
Ice JJ Fish.
I'm trying to book him.
Huh? What you booking him for?
I don't know. It can't be more than about a G.
No, I'm talking about what are you booking him for? To come like read to kids, or what do you want him to do?
For him to come perform and do his dance.
All right, kids.
Something about you, girl.
Look, they used to book a turquoise Jeep.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Hell, I've been to 2 or 3 of their shows. I can't even front.
They came to like Connor's one time, I believe.
Yeah.
That smang it shit. They was smash and bang.
Smash it and bang.
And the thing is, they stay in character. Like when they come to the after party.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I swear I used to think one of them was Charlie Murphy.
Oh no,
Big thick mustache.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy.
Indeed. Rest in peace.
But yeah, just really quick, we went from the whole collection. I ended up taking the time and creating a form on the website that people had to like fill out, just to kind of like cut down on that way
Quality
we're not
control, weeding out the bullshit.
Hey man, and then people that really wanted to submit to us would take the time to submit to us.
Yeah.
And then
It still would be bullshit.
it would, but the ratio was a lot better.
Yeah, it dropped.
The ratio was a lot better. And then eventually we've adapted it now to where the only thing we do now is we share on YouTube. So you can submit us to be on our YouTube channel, and if we like it, we'll put you on there
Funny thing about
for a fee.
Funny thing about Bringing Down the Band is, like, Bringing Down the Band has shared so many people that have gone on to do things, or if you will, quote unquote, but they weren't those people back then. And it's just funny, like, to see, like, ahead of the curve, if you will. Like, a lot of people
kind of shit.
a lot of people talk about they were ahead of the curve, but they really weren't because nobody cared. Like, people actually cared about Bringing Down the Band, and y'all were ahead of the curve, but oh well.
It's what it is.
I wonder if you go back to the Whelp series, if any of those cats made it big.
No.
No?
There is one really, really funny guy on there. He had like a song about Thomas the Train Engine and shit. And he had another one that was like video games. I couldn't tell if he was a comedian or if he was doing it seriously. But I love
to wear like a wave cap or some shit.
Yeah, he's from like Seattle or some shit.
Yeah.
He might have a lane, man. What's my boy name? Play the keyboard. That's real funny, but he's talented.
Oh, you talking about Mark Rebellet?
Yeah, he's
That's
cold.
different. He's different.
He actually
cold.
make beats and shit on the fly.
But they're good though.
Yeah, and
He's
sing
just comedic.
fucked up lyrics.
Yeah, he's tough.
But it sounds good. Yeah.
Nah, he's tough.
His shows sell out here.
I believe it.
Sold out quick.
2 of them.
When Lone showed
Both of them.
When Lone showed me the video of that guy, the first I looked past all the comedy, I laughed, but I looked at Lone and was like, "Yo,
I
these
told you
beats
that.
are pretty good though."
I told you. I was like, "Hey
On the
man, listen
fly.
to him." But his beats are dope.
Yeah, I laughed second after I, obviously get past the comedy shit, but I was like, "Yo, this dude is really dope."
He's making dope
these beats on the
records.
spots.
He's in different styles on the fly.
So you can tell he's talented.
He got the funk in him.
I ain't mad at him. I'm not mad at that. All right. Let's see. So
yeah, 2010, 2014.
Okay. I see where you're coming from now. When I saw it on Twitter, I was like, what is he talking about?
Not to confuse it with, and what I would say is like the 90
golden era.
90
Give me
to
the dates
about
for that.
2000.